yeah, we're on. Big Clive has just ended. So, let me start. Hello and welcome to the Keritech stream. My voice is still a little bit off. Got a teeny tiny bit of non-linear distortion in it. Clive ended with a woofle, and I will start with a woofle. Oh, what was I thinking? Let's turn off the lights. So... woofle! Fuck yeah! Watch your lights. The light is now coming back. I've been missing it for so long. That vinyl is scratched. Yes, indeed. Like, my voice. Needs some WD-40. Yes, indeed. That's true, because WD-40 was the water displacer, and you know, the phlegm, the watery part, it could be displaced. I'm insane indeed, Chipmunk. I'm insane indeed. Hey, Raven Looney, you didn't know I had a channel? All those months? All those years? I have been running this channel for 1.5 years. And I have been telling people here and then, on friends, on Clives. I've been active on Discord, both Big Clive's Discords, and promoting my videos. And you only now learned that I had a channel. How is it possible? Not to shame you, but your presence here is appreciated. Yeah, Clive just ended. Yes, I posted the link twice today. Last time I posted a link, it drew some people to my stream. And that's also a advantage of having the moderator privileges, because otherwise the link would be automatically deleted. It wouldn't make it to the public. And having the mod superpowers, I can post links, and the bot won't give a shit about it. That's the super mod power that I will be using for the common good. I've got the super mod powers on Clive's channels and on Fran's channel. Hi James. Hi Zapped Sparky. Nice to see you all. Yeah, that sort of woofle would burn down everything. It would burn houses down with the lemons. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? So, yeah, living on a different planet, so am I. Being autistic, it's like living on another planet. Barking spider. No. None of that web development rubbish. Yeah, YouTube just YouTube just makes people think that they have any impact, that their comments are visible, while it's just shadow banning some content, some entries. Friggin' bullshit. Yeah, this is a lot of confusion, I agree, Chipmunk. Yeah, your lemonade is gonna suck unless it gave you water and sugar as well. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so maybe it's time for a little update on what's been going on with my life and my lab. Because I've been missing for a long time, for a month. And the story behind it all, it's that my friend from the other end of Poland, they are pretty weak and sick nowadays. They do various renovation and wiring jobs, but they have become sick and weak. They had something like a stroke, and wanted me to help with two renovations, with doing wiring on two renovations. So I went there and helped them because I needed money. I always need money to get by and get some new gear. Some new gear. You will see it pretty soon. And I went there and worked a week at one location, then unfortunately, I got sick. I got cold and some respiratory infection. Hopefully, it was not COVID. It was not the typical COVID. I retained my sense of smell and taste, but I. After I was off from that job, I spent a few days in a bed, then went to another place, another job. At some point, I was sick from the side effects of the cough syrup. It made me nauseous and it made me puke and have diarrhea. So I stopped taking that cough syrup. And my voice, at some point I couldn't use my voice at all. It was just minus 30 decibels from the nominal level and 50% of total harmonic distortion. Total harmonic discombobulation. And I came back from the job on Tuesday. On Tuesday, when was it? Let me check. 9th of May. Spent a few days in bed. And I was recovering since then, and the voice is coming back. It's better and better. Still not perfect, but I can use it no problem now. It's a lot better than it used to be. So I decided to give it a go on my channel yesterday. I recorded the video on the new scope that I got, the Tektronix 468. A real thing of beauty and a joy forever, and you'll see it on today's stream as well. I won't be doing the teardown, but I'll show it in action. It's so nice. And it's as old as me. So that's the story behind the lack of content on my channel for a month or so. I was hoping to make a few YouTube videos when I was away, making a stream too, but because of the infection and because of the total harmonic discombobulation, I just couldn't do it. So today on the bench, I'll do a little teardown of some things that I got from the some things that I got from there, and wanted to make teardown videos, but couldn't. So we'll see a live teardown. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, weekend variant going around. Like, I'm not sure how I would test. Theoretically, shouldn't be as bad because I was vaccinated with a booster, so that would be 3 jabs in my arm. Maybe it was COVID, but yeah, a very bad B-class amp with 1 tube that got lost emission and causes huge amounts of tickly coughing too. Well, that rings a bell for me. That may be COVID. Who knows? Like, no matter what you do, it's gonna get you. You're gonna get the virus anyway. So yeah, major lag. Yeah, the reason how I was missing, yeah, that's right. Huh. The title of that video, I'm oh silly scope, yeah. So I earned some cash on those jobs, and I was considering getting a second-hand Fluke multimeter, Fluke 179 or 189, but someone bought it before I got the cash, so the Fluke was gone. So I decided to do another upgrade I was keen on doing for many months. The scope upgrade. Yeah. 26 seconds of latency. What the hell? Your transmission is working. Then stream condition is perfect on my side. Fuck, I just sound like I was transmitting with the single sideband modulation. That's a real deal radio voice. Well, and I think that I started learning, and I think I will be taking an exam and getting a call sign. I'm planning on getting into the ham radio stuff. I was inspired by Jerry Ellsworth to get into the ham radio stuff, seeing that a lot of people who are into electronics have traditionally done amateur radio communications. And frankly, I am pretty interested in how the radio frequency electronics work. I've become drawn to that stuff, it's like leveling up. At some point, if it goes to 20 kilohertz, it's not enough anymore. You wanna go higher and higher and higher. It's also like voltages, if it reaches your limits, then you want to push your limits to hundreds of volts, kilovolts. Chipmunk, black magic, or Curious Mark says, it's the blackest of the black arts in analog electronics. I've got a bunch of books on electronics, and I even have a book on microwave tubes. Yeah, dig really deep to find any Brexit benefits. I think the number here is 404. Paying work, yes, paying work is better than YouTube, of course. My channel is so small and non-commercial, so I can't count on monetization. Not in the foreseeable future. And monetization on YouTube, it's shit. The only thing you can rely on is Patreon or some other websites where your fans can support you. Because don't even fucking count on YouTube's monetization, because it forces people to watch advertisements, and otherwise you wouldn't make a cent of it. And YouTube still takes a fair share of what the video earns. And then it's taxes. So the creator just gets a teeny tiny scrap. Fuck that. Fuck that, I'm not interested in it. And I'm not interested in all those bullshit conditions that change all the time. I learned from people who've been there and done it. I learned from Fran, and I learned from some others like Louis Rossman. So I will know better and not get into that trap. I won't fall for it. I could go and rant, but I'm not really in a position to complain about the YouTube monetization, because I haven't really experienced it, and I don't really want to experience it in the first place. It's just one situation that kinda gets me off. Like, with my teeny tiny channel that now has 563 subscribers last time I checked. When I see other channels over in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers telling that they are teeny tiny, it just kinda rubs me in the bad way that it's some kind of an imposter syndrome that I'm a teeny tiny creator. I make videos because of my passion and partly as a byproduct of my work, all the repair and construction and design stuff I do here. But it just makes me feel that I'm nobody. And the problem is that nowadays YouTube is just so damn saturated. Like, there's so many creators in our technical niche that it's hard for the beginner creators that I consider myself still a beginner creator. Although it's been 1.5 year that I've been running my channel and it evolved. It keeps on evolving, and I'm getting new equipment, and there's always a ton of projects to do on my channel, and I will be focusing on projects rather than recording the stream and cutting it and and posting the parts as videos. That's the one thing that I don't quite like about Fran's channel. Anyway, I will be doing technical stuff. Turtles and some insights and some products building and modding. So when it comes to running my channel, I can tell you about the equipment I used to do it, how it developed. Initially, I used a mobile phone to make videos. I hacked a mounting rig above my bench. Then I got myself a webcam for making the parts from the desk, and another webcam over the bench. And then I got myself a better webcam, the Razer Kio Pro for the bench cam. Had a lot of problems with it. It's all boiled down to the encoding and USB bandwidth, because it's a USB-free camera. At this point, I got it working at 1080p 60 FPS with MJPEG encoding rather than YOYV420 or H.264. Because with those encodings, it all went to shit. I had the stream, the video feed freeze at random points, and it was so crappy, it was useless, and I was just getting so upset trying to make videos, not able to make those videos and losing footage. It just broke all the stuff I wanted to show when I was working on the ZX Spectrum Plus 2. And fortunately, eventually, I reached the point where I could tinker with that stuff, test different settings in OBS and Video for Linux, and it boiled down to the stream encoding. So I have the camera working at the point, but next week I will upgrade the hardware, the USB setup. I will add a better USB hub and 5 meters of USB-free wire between the hub close to the computer and the hub above my bench. All this while the power will be routed separately from a 12-volt power supply. So I will be using the powered hub above the bench, so not a chance of having problems with brownouts on USB. And that will be particularly important because that hub above the bench. One moment, please. Let me show you the current setup. And that's why I've got the DSLR. Let's change the video feed. And I will now go over there to the bench. What you can see here, come on, focus. None of that out of focus rubbish. So, the Logitech C930, then that's the camera above looking at us. This is the test gear cam, and the round one, and that's the problematic Razer Keo Pro, and I've got another Behringer C1U microphone above the bench, and here I am speaking to the desk microphone, also a Behringer C1U. I had some problems with those mics, but I recombobulated them. And as for the USB hub, let's go back. Now I've got the USB 2.0 4 ports hub. That's pretty crappy and has loose contacts. and I will be replacing it with a USB 3.0 hub with 7 ports, and I will connect the Kio Pro to the hub above the bench, and right now the Kio Pro is on a 6-meter cable going straight to the first hub, but I don't have the proper 1 meter maximum length of cable on USB 3.0 connection between the hub and the camera. And I hope that there will be no bandwidth shenanigans on that one. So it's half an hour we're going, and it's time to read the chat. One moment, please. Yeah, unless you're huge like Clive with millions of pounds. Millions of pounds. Interesting. Yeah, I also avoided getting COVID. Yeah. Hi, Ray. I was just chewing rags and didn't really have time to read the chat. Yeah, Brexit has 400 serious response codes. Lovely stuff. Fractal antennas, yeah. Stats for nerds and set playback rate to 1.25 and switch back to 1x if the buffer is at 1 second. Yeah, Joe, normally when I watch streams and have a lag, I just catch it up at double normal speed. Failed dependency and precondition fail. Oh, here comes the cat. Hello, kitty. Oh, Chipmunk, sorry to hear about that insurance company shenanigans. Yeah, gonna drink something. Kilo Oscar. Let me lower the mic. Pairing like a motorcycle. Yeah, video codecs can be incredibly frustrating. Oh, hey, Eduardo. Oh yeah, that's a real reel-to-reel. It's really a real reel-to-reel. Still gotta repair it because it gives off a little bit too much magic smoke when I play a tape. I will have to pin down the issue. Yeah, I am the vacuum tube witch. Of course I am the vacuum tube witch. Fran is the pedal mom, and I will be the vacuum tube witch. Google claims he has millions. He wants to know where it is. And that's funny. Stream invader. What kind of stream invader? That's some engine, yeah. Pairing like a Harley fucking Davidson or a steam locomotive. And I think I should have said diesel locomotive. But yeah, that's an engine indeed. Okay, so I think I will be chewing rags for 20 minutes, then we'll have a woofo and go over to the bench. A four-legged purring stream invader. Indeed. The sweetest invader you can think of. I love this cat. He's been with us since late 2019. We had when I moved here, we had two cats, and then my queer friend's mother took one of them. Unfortunately, he died in the new place, probably hit by car. And the other cat, he was always the outgoing kind. Right here, right where I live, it's quite safe. There are no cars, and it's pretty much safe to let a cat go out. Unless you have a crazy neighbor who has something against the cat and has some malicious ways to deal with her frustration by killing the cat. At least that's what we think that happened. So we lost both cats in 2019. And I decided to adopt I decided to look for a new cat to adopt, and that's how we got Coco. When we got him, he was 8 years old. So now he will be 12. Yeah. You'd have a crazy dead neighbor. I think I agree. Of course, cats are awesome friends for autistic people. Yeah. Yeah, chipmunk. So, back to back to the scope story. I was looking for. Hi, Amy. I was looking for some decent quality scope, and had a few options that were something like 1,000 Polish zloty, but yeah, I realized that I'd rather have some other projects to do, so I had to spare some cash for them. I got this one for 600, and still I decided to give it a go, because from what I read, it was a really nice scope, even though it's vintage and not up to modern standards. But what counts is that it's legendary, and it has twice 100 megahertz per channel, compared to my old harmonic scope that had 20 megahertz. So I just decided to take a risk, and if it's not working like it should, I would repair it, because I know that the service documentation for Tektronix, it can be gotten very easily. I was pretty surprised that Tektronix still has the service manuals for this model. It's over 40 years old. But yes, Tektronix still supports the scope, and that's absolutely fucking awesome. And what I absolutely admire about Tektronix is that back in the day, they released the bulletin where they described the ins and outs of the inner workings of their scopes. They shared the knowledge. Like they didn't keep it all to themselves. Of course, they protected the patents. They protected their designs. They were pretty keen to sue those who copied their designs. At some point, Hickok, the company that I would say was more famous for vacuum tube testers, made some copies of, for example, the 535 Tektronix scope, and had a US military contract for making those scopes that would be on par with Tektronix. And indeed, those scopes were nicely built. They even used those ceramic terminal strips with silver joints, just like Tektronix used. And Tektronix had a ongoing legal battle with Hickok. So that's That's the story of how Tektronix approached the sharing knowledge while protecting it. And I really think that making knowledge public, it's very important to upholding and developing the technical culture. Like if you just paywall or shut off all the know-how, don't share it with the world, you run into the risk. You may have the apparent benefits of being the only ones who can service the stuff, but in the long run, it will make your customers frustrated, because after you cease supporting the product, they will be left alone with no resources unless you share that stuff. Like make all the service documentation available after the product is discontinued. That would be beneficial to the customers, to the owners, because Louis Rossmann constantly keeps saying that, and Fran also keeps saying that, and I will keep saying that. Right to repair is in fact right to own things. Own as in decide what you want to do with the stuff, with the devices, how you want to use them, if you want to still use them, and if the manufacturer keeps the knowledge you need to repair the stuff away from you, then they are just exercising some power over you that they have no right to. And you know how we call it? It's violence. Maybe because I'm just an anarchist punk girl, but yes, it's violence. Okay, reading the chat. Yeah, one party too many. Oh, Raven Looney, the Fnircy scope. I bet Diode Gone Wild has already done a review of that stuff. He has been posting a lot of videos on Fnircy devices. Yeah, up to modern standards often translates to made for idiots to use. All this while smart people, the real deal smart people, are so fucking confused with that unintuitive user interface. As we have saw on that Fran's video on that Tektronix TDS 2022, if I remember correctly. Yeah, in the 80s and 90s they got banned because of a wee baby who might stick its fingers in there. No, no! Were currents around back then? Speaking of currents, I watched. Still can't laugh off that one. I watched that video on the impossible Karen. Damn it! It was so fucking brutal. Let me Google it for ya. One moment, please. Like it was an electrician who. It was David Severin, an electrician who was
UK and
who was doing a checkup and repairs on wiring in one of the houses, and what was initially a pretty good customer and service provider relationship, it turned into hell, and it involved physical violence. And I think I would come out pretty traumatized if I had such a situation. Yeah, you don't play the Battle of Loud with me and win Raffle. By the way, oh, for crying out loud. Oh, for crying out loud. By the way, take a look at what I've got in for a repair. One moment, please. Let me grab the DSLR and go over then to the back bench. That's a solid state Fender. That's a solid state Fender. Unfortunately, not a tube one. It has a broken speaker and reverb. Otherwise, it's pretty working. When I fired it up and decided to give it some drive. Oh my goodness, this thing can be quite an offender when it comes to being loud. So, just let me grab that baby and the axe. Turn up the knob. Unfortunately, that's not the Spinal tap amplifier, and it goes only to 10, not 11. My amplifiers go to 11. My amplifiers are the Spinal tap edition. So, that Fender, it can make quite a racket, and if anyone wants to play the Battle of Loudness, just let me put it on overdrive and switch the axe to humbucker, and We'll see who's the louder one. And yeah, when I grabbed it and tried plugging the strings, it was quite nice. I bet that only a tube amp can beat that. The sustain was fucking awesome on that thing. And what I've got here, it's the AMP board. And that's how I will be prototyping the preamp for my Dirty Dozen amplifier and maybe some other amplifiers. I designed and made it mainly for preamp prototyping, including the high gain stages. I think I made a teeny tiny mistake by not putting the shields on the preamp tubes. It might be picking up hum and noise. I don't have too many of those shields, and I think I should use at least 2 of them. Because with 4 tubes I can go very, very, very high with gain. I can also prototype the phase inverter. I can prototype the active effect loops, and of course I can prototype multi-stage preamplifiers, like some real deal high gain stuff. And this AMP board, it has a single-ended amplifier with an ECL 86 with the trail. There's a voltage amplifier stage, and the pentode as the power amplifier. So I can just connect it to the speaker and play the preamp if I want to. I made 6 holes for the potentiometers. That would be 3 for the tone controls and 1 for the master volume that's here, and 2 of them for the gain. Just like I have on the Dirty Dozen. So any experimenting with the preamp circuits I can do on the AMP board and play it, prototype it, play it, iterate, change stuff. After I got the design pretty much where I want it to, I can just transfer the design to the proper amp. So it's just an equivalent of a breadboard for prototyping. And in fact, this is a real deal breadboard. 1/3 of them. Like, I was already mentioning it. But it's after 1:30, so that means that's waffle time for ya. And back to the AMP board. I once had a breadboard that broke. It split in 1/3 and 2/3. With the 2/3, I made a board that I can use for. I can put the board using a wooden block I attached to it. I can put it in the vise on the bench and put the laptop on it. That's the laptop at the bench. That's 2/3 of that breadboard, and the remaining 1/3 went into the amplifier modeling and prototyping board. And it will serve me well. So, reading the chat. An issue with your choice of music. Yeah, having a broad taste in music is good. Yeah, Sabbath and Metallica. And Iron Maiden. I could also say that Behemoth or Dream Theater. By the way, I've got a cassette of Queensryche Operation Mindcrime. I will really have to give it a go again. I haven't listened to it for so many years. And it was a nice album. Other metal bands I like, it's Blind Guardian, Nightwish. Some people may dismiss Nightwish, but I really like the old Nightwish. I like Opeth. Also, I also like Rammstein. There's a lot of good metal music. Both old classics and some more modern stuff. On the other hand, my queer friend really hates Metallica. And I like 1980s Metallica, especially Ride the Lightning. Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. Master of Puppets, so, and Justice for All. Yeah, maybe some tracks on it, they are awesome. Unfortunately, it was after the Clive Burton's death. And they had no bass. So they didn't really sound all that well. Yeah. Oh, Joras, Mera 400, I know that channel. Not sure that I subscribed it, but I know that channel and it's really in deep. I just love that someone's so passionate about old computers and goes into all kinds of ins and outs of that technology. That's also what I love about Dave Love at Usagi Electric. And his channel is developing really nicely. It will be 50,000 subscribers in a moment. I remember the time he was under 20,000 subscribers. And he's becoming a fucking legend. He's already the Centurion guy. And he will be the PDP-11 guy and Bendix guy, and also I think that he will become the Cray guy. standing inside the Cray one in the museum. How was that museum named? Large Scale Systems Museum. When the LSSM, when Dave was going back from the Vintage Computer Fair East, he visited the Large Scale Systems Museum, and there was a lot of wonderful stuff in that place. I would absolutely love to take a look at it and the exhibits, because they had multiple mainframes and mini computers, like the Bendix, like PDP-11 or PDP-8, and the Cray. The design of the Cray machines, it's absolutely fucking wonderful. Like, not only the technical design, but the aesthetics of it. Someone, was it Seymour Cray, the designer of that computer, was a visionary. Those machines, they were the best of the best for many years. And not just that, not just the parameters, they also looked awesome. Very, very futuristic. I'd love to see one in person. Standing inside one, maybe. Yeah, Louis Grossman and Clinton, of course, Clinton. Air. I can't meow like Clinton with that non-mother, with that harmonic discombobulation. Total harmonic discombobulation. Yeah, anarchist punk in 2023. We'll never know the joy of kicking in a phone box. Especially if it's bigger on the inside, right? If it's blue and bigger on the inside. Oh, Chipmunk. So it's definitely the kind of COVID that you had. So I guess that's achievement unlocked for me. Have COVID. On the other hand, I would have the other achievement. Those two are mutually exclusive. That never had COVID. Yeah, hi Zapped Sparky. DSES, yeah. That woman was insane. Ah, David Savory. That woman, yeah, I guess. Clive, Clive once mentioned it in his streams, so I decided to give it a watch. On one hand, I had very mixed feelings about it. On one hand, it was a little bit funny, but on the other hand, it's sad about how pesky people can be. Like, some people will just decide to be violent because they see no other way. And it's very sad for me. Amp porn. Amp porn. If you want some amp porn, just wait until I finish that Keritech Dirty Dozen sexiness. What's the difference in frequency response between tubes and transistors? It depends on the parameters, especially the inter-electrode capacitances. Like with triodes, it's mainly the capacitance between the anode or the plate and the grid. It's called Miller capacitance, and what it does is injecting some of the inverted signal from the plate to the grid. It acts as a negative feedback. And since it's a capacitance, it has lower impedance for higher frequency signals, and that's why it limits the frequency. But it might be a little bit counterintuitive, but this also happens with transistors. So that's why some types of transistors are better meant for high frequency applications than others. There's that max frequency parameter in the datasheets, and that determines what you can do with that, with the transistor. It's similar to what you can see with tubes. And of course, tetrodes were the first kind of tubes to have a go at eliminating the Miller capacitance problem by introducing a positive tight grid between the control grid and the plate, but this caused other problems like secondary electron emissions. That's why tetrodes were pretty quickly eliminated and replaced by pentodes and beam tetrodes, where a, a set of beam-forming plates shape the electron beam in such a way that it hits the anode rather than the glass. And pentodes have a vastly wider frequency response. They are pretty common in a very high frequency application like television amplifiers or something like that. Or radio frequency amplifiers. And it can be very high frequency amplification. It can be done with triodes in a pretty specific circuit named cascode, like putting one triode above the other. Oh. It's 11 to 2. Okay, let me check. According to audiophiles, tubes have a warmer sound. Yeah, even the sensible audiophiles, not the audiophiles, those who listen to cables and all that wanky stuff. Though I would love to experiment on some audiophile grade stuff like 300B. They're so expensive I probably couldn't afford one. In many years. Still wondering how Fran got hers. I guess that back in the day, in the early 2000s, late 1990s, they were a little bit cheaper, but when the audiophiles came and drove the prices sky high, it all went to hell. Yeah. White tart. Yeah. Job testing power supply. Nice. Thanks, Chipmunks, for the nice words. Yeah, indeed. I really used a real deal breadboard. Like, back in the day, people made prototyping boards by hammering the nails into actual breadboards. And then soldered the resistors, capacitors, tube sockets, all that stuff. Yeah. Checking the ceiling is not on fire. No, there's absolutely no risk of that. The ceiling is something like 3.5 meters above the floor. I've got... my lab is pretty high and spacious. And I love it this way. I absolutely love that the room, that my apartment is so high. The only thing that I don't love is that it's on the 5th floor of a tenement house with no elevator. So, all the heavy stuff you see in my lab, I had to carry it all upstairs. I had to carry it upstairs. I do. Waffles Clive says no too. No. None of that web development rubbish. Yeah, I can't tolerate Metallica after they sued Napster. That approach was fucking shitty. I fully agree with you. In Poland, we have a saying that Metallica was finished after Kill 'Em All. And yeah, Nightwish with Tarja. Well, before the Once album, Once was not so good. But my favorite was Wishmaster, and I have a special place in my heart for Angels for First, because I once bought a cassette of that album, and that's how I got to know Nightwish in the first place. I still got that cassette. One moment, please. The box might be not original, but cassette time with Carrie. That's the Polish edition. Of course, now the cassette is pretty badly worn. I have listened to it so many times. By the way, in that same collection that I bought, one of my favorite albums of all times, Judgment by Anathema. Oh. What the fuck is going on? It ain't looking that bad. Ain't looking that good. Of course, I'd rather have a CD. But it's a absolutely beautiful album. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. Especially the Judgment. Especially the Judgment track. Day after day, burning all away, burning all away, burning all away. That's one of my favorite albums ever. I also love love Deliverance by Abef. Also very nice album. I can go and get my vinyl records collection. Our vinyl records collection, because it's mainly my queer friend who does the selection and buying. But I can share one particular record that I've been listening to many times. I think I will need to do a video on that. I found it curiously in the metal music section in one record store in a city nearby. I knew Verduna, the neo-folk band. I knew them and I liked them. So I bought this album, and oh my goodness, it was such a beautiful music. It has a lot of pagan and animist motives. Pagan ritual, something like both Nordic mythology, witchcraft, animism. Plus, I absolutely love Einar Selvik's stance when it comes to politics, because the neo-folk scene, it's pretty notorious for ties with extreme right, with neo-Nazism, and Einar Selvik is actively anti-fascist, and that's what really makes me respect him a lot. Not just that he makes music that fucking moves me to the very core of my soul. Just mentioning this album, it makes me cry, because when I'm thinking on it, and the music player in my head automatically plays the songs. So I remember them, so, and I feel it again and again and again. And okay, it's time to grab another one. Yeah, this also a 1980s classic. This is Sananda Maitreya, who changed changed his name. Before that, he was known as Terence Trent D'Arby, and oh my goodness, this album it was groundbreaking. Had so many hits that made it to the tops of the charts. Like If You All Get to Heaven, or If You Let Me Stay, or Wishing Well. And yeah, I guess Dance Little Sister also made it high. And of course, Sign Your Name. Bloody, bloody, bloody hell. Look at the inlay design. On the other side, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple and clean. And what strikes me about this album, it's how well recorded it is. It's also clear and so selective. The frequency range on this album, nothing is too dark and muddy. It's all very clear. You can hear the bass. You can hear the hi-hats on the drums. You can perfectly discern between all the instruments. That's what makes this album so awesome. And let's grab some more. Of course, this is the Polish edition of Closer. And one moment, please. Where is the... Here is the inset. Of course, I like this album a lot because I'm pretty much a fan of post-punk, gothic rock, all that kind of stuff. So I love Joy Division. But what I absolutely love about the album is the graphic design. It's so simple. It's very aesthetic, but elegant. And New Order also has such a simple and aesthetic graphic design. Being a band that directly stems from Joy Division after Ian Curtis, the vocalist, committed suicide. And now also 2 albums by one of my favorite bands, That Can Dance, Within the Realm of a Dying Sun. The absolute opus magnum of That Can Dance. If you haven't ever listened to this album, you really have to. It's just so beautiful. And I'm very glad to have this record in my collection, in our collection. It was expensive, 250 zloty. We bought it at the Dominican Fair that takes place every summer in Gdańsk. There are numerous vinyl record stands, and this is one of the recent albums. Anastasis. It's pretty much a return to the old school That Can Dance, but the recording quality. Oh my goodness! The recording quality on Anastasis. It's just. It's just too overdriven, like the sound engineers tried to drive the levels on the kick drum so way up that it pushes my preamp into overdrive. And what I hear on it is just distorted kick drum. Like, why do they even do the loudness thing? I'm not really fond of that. If you record the vinyl record, you should really make it sound good. And with levels going all over the roof. Maybe I should mod my funnel preamp. I think I will at some point. But I should never have that issue with any record. Drink. Yes, thanks, Raven Looney. That's a good advice. Keep hydrated. Like, I can go on chewing rags. Chewing rags and talking, but not drinking enough. Not much into metal? Not a problem, Chipmunk. Not a problem. We all have different tastes, right? I might be into the rock music, the punk, the post-punk, gothic rock, industrial metal, whatnot. Also some folk music, maybe sometimes some jazz music. Definitely not the hip hop or crappy pop. But as for pop music, it's also a thing that the songs that age that are songs from the 90s, I feel pretty nostalgic about them. Even though it's kitsch. Maybe kitsch, but fuck that. Yeah, reading the chat. Yeah, in the UK it's called a suppressor grid. The third grid on in the pentout. It's the suppressor grid. In Polish it's called siatka hamująca. In German it's called Bremsgitter. And yeah. Imaginarium. Sounds like the old Nightwish. I might be interested in that. The fact you can put your hand on it means you are more organized than me. Not sure what you mean, Chipmunk. Heat and cool cycles cause cassettes to unspool like that. Well, I can't really see it happening in my lab. The temperature here is pretty constant. And I would probably see it happening on all of my cassettes if it was the case. If I know of any studies that chart fidelity versus frequency for certain types of binary encodings. Oh no, I don't have a knowledge about that. I don't know. Oh, hi Sadie. Nice to see you here. Sorry that I reply so late, but yeah, when I was caught up in chewing rags about vinyl records and all that stuff, yeah, there was not too much time to read the chat. I'm not a very good multitasker. Multitasker? It would be a multi-core cable made by Tasker in Italy. One of my favorite brands of cables. When I choose a cable, I look at the inner build and quality and reliability. And for me, it's mainly Belden, Tasker, Klotz, Pearl, Cordial. That would be pretty much for the brands of cables. And I have a background in professional audio electronics engineering. When I worked for the campus radio. That campus radio, as it is named in Polish, Studenckie Radio Żak Politechniki Łódzkiej, the Technical University of Lodz campus radio, at the moment they are having the 64th anniversary. They have been around since 1950s. And that's a mighty long time. Despite all the shenanigans with Polish history, especially during the martial law of 1981, the authorities back then confiscated the radio equipment and recordings, so people hid those vast tape archives because back then all the recordings were stored on magnetic tape, and people hid those tapes in public address speakers. So the authorities couldn't find them. That's how it was all preserved. And the archive is still around. And I've got numerous stories to share about my time at the Students' Radio Jacques. There is a real deal audio electronics engineer, Wiktor Skrzydłowski. He's fucking legendary. He still comes to his lab in Students' Radio Jacques and does repairs, and he builds amplifiers, preamplifiers, studio gear. I learned quite a lot of stuff from the guy. Also pretty passionate. He has a formal education in electronic engineering, something that I don't. And I bet that if he could, if he wanted, he could be a senior member on the IEEE and on the AES. But I guess that he doesn't care all that much about memberships in fancy organizations. He has done his time in the Polish radio. And oh my goodness, what fucking awesome equipment he has worked on. Neve mixing consoles are... What was the name? What was that name? I don't remember it. But all the great names in audio electronics engineering, he knows it all. And he's a specialist known not only in the entire Poland but also abroad. And he is one of my inspirations in doing my work, though the scale of my little lab is pretty limited. But I will be getting there. And by the way, one of the upcoming projects, it's a restoration of a pretty common but very good Polish vacuum tube amplifier named W100. I will definitely make a few videos about it. One of Gar's on Usagi Electric's Discourse channels is Polish, and she asked a few questions, and I was glad to help her with the amplifier because I worked on a few of them. Those W100 amplifiers. And I was very happy to get in touch with her and have her send it to me for restoration. So that will be a great opportunity to go over the schematics and the amplifier, the history of it, also the inner workings, because that amplifier has some circuit features that you mainly find in some advanced hi-fi amplifiers, like split load on the output transformer. It's not just ultra linear, but also has part of the load in the EL34 tube scaffolds. The plate windings and the screen grid windings, they work on different potentials, so they are separate. Ultra linear, but separate. It has the cross-coupled phase inverter. That means that it can be very easily converted to fully balanced operation. And its frequency response places it in the real deal hi-fi segment, even though those amplifiers were meant for public address use. A mighty fucking awesome amp. And the power and output transformers, they are just enormous. They are not small cheapo transformers that would be capable of passing the 50 hertz to 15 kilohertz. It would go down a lot lower, and potentially those amps could be modified and rebiased to work with 6550 or 5881 or KT88 tubes with some more output power. Nominally it's 100 watts, but it could go up to 150 or 200 with only slight modifications of the circuit. So the amp I will be working on, it's in a pretty bad shape. It has been kicking around, and it was basically scrapped. And I will strip it down to the chassis and clean it, and then rewire it from scratch. Woofer time is coming, but I will show it to you after I get it, and I will get it in the upcoming week. So what's with the chat? Towel to the rescue. Oh, Rayburn, I have heard about Heilung, but I've never listened to them. Yeah, I loved Terrence back in the day. All the tracks on that album are awesome. Yeah, chewing rags. Indeed. Like the ham radio people say, chewing rags. Yeah, Raven Looney. I wanted to be a music teacher at one point in my life, and then I ended up studying software engineering. Then I got an arrow to the knee. Yeah, music for a different audience. Now, Raven Looney, you're definitely not banned or shadow banned here. Yeah, if music moves you, it moves you. Indeed. Bugs Fizz and Cheryl Baker, never heard of them. The Organized. Gonna split. Yeah, bye Russ, if you're still here. Yeah. Yeah, Belden used to make some niche stuff. During my time in the students' radio, we did broadcasting of we did live broadcasts of some concerts and festivals. We even cooperated with the campus television. We did the sound and they did the vision. And in order to do those streams, everything was done in analog domain. Then the front of house mixer was a Soundcraft Spirit 24 or 32 channel professional mixer. And the concert room was separate from the broadcasting studio, and we ran 2 or 3 long balanced audio cables from the front of house mixer to the studio. At one point, I found some auction or classified for military surplus cables that could fit the purpose. They were in fact made by Belden, and they were supplied on spools, so that they could be wound on spools when not in use, and unwound when we were using them. And after we bought them, there was a lot of cables to make. because it was just a few days before the big festival, and I was spending a few nights in the lab soldering those cables, making the typical XLR to XLR professional audio cables. It was fun time. I slept at the campus radio. I wasn't going home because I was just sitting there in the lab. 4 a.m. and I was still going. Pulling an all-nighter nowadays ain't gonna happen that easy. Back then, when I was in my 20s, it was a no-brainer. I could pull an all-nighter. All I wanted. I could play Fallout and go to sleep after 5 a.m. No problem. And now, I just get too tired so early. And well, once you reach a certain age, you have to know your limitations. I'm 37 now. I still consider myself pretty young. But there's this inevitable reality of getting old. And I can see it, and I have to get ready for it. That's also why I take my inspiration from those who are older than me, like Fran, like learning from their experiences, although they have been brought up in different times, with different media, in different social realities. Those experiences, some of them I can relate to, others I can't. So I have to filter all of those experiences and stories related to myself. Like asking myself questions all the time. What can I learn from it? What can I do better with the knowledge that I have gained? Reading the chat. Yeah. Pity about Lech Wałęsa. And also pity about Mirosław Hermaszewski. Mirosław Hermaszewski, up to now, the only Polish person in space. He died in December, just a few days before the landing of Artemis 1. He was a great educator and a man who dedicated his life to making science and knowledge about space popular. He will be missed. Oh, Joanne of Hearts, Pedal Playhouse, nice to see you, hi. I really have to go over to your Discord and Emily the Harpist's one as well. I just don't have too much time to do all the Discord and social media stuff I want to, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed by trying to keep up with what's happening over all those Discord servers. Yeah, real deal cable, indeed. Of course, Fran is awesome. He's a mighty fucking inspiration for me. And, truth be told, she's the only YouTuber in the whole world that I have feelings. I have strong and very positive feelings and emotions too. She will always have a special place in my heart. Even though she is going through a burnout lately. Unfortunately, she posted on her Patreon that she's pretty fed up with making those videos with all that hamster wheel. Oh, damn it. I have missed it. I will really have to hack myself a woofer reminder. So, woofer. And about the promised bench action. Let me get to the bench, and yes, she is fantastic indeed. Yeah, we all feel burnout, and I sometimes also do. Like, it's about things not progressing on my channel as much as I would like them to. Like, before I got sick, before I went up there to do that electrical work, I decided to give it a go, to do a streak of making videos, making a video every day, to see if it boosts the viewership and the subscriptions on my channel. Guess what? It didn't. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. The only promotion I can count on, it's extra YouTuber recommendation algorithms. ERA. I can't count on YouTube to promote my videos. I have to do it all myself. Post the news, the videos on Discord servers, on my Facebook page, on my Tumblr, hoping that someone sees it and gets interested. And the only big boost in viewership was after I wrote an article on hackaday.io that made it to the hackaday.com front page with the video linked. And I got a fair amount of views and subscriptions at the end of last year, after I posted the Little Red Devil amplifier. Like the thing that captivated genial list from Hackaday was that I combined a tube amplifier with a Bluetooth module, as if I was the first one to do it, right? No, definitely. The Chinese have been doing it for years. Maybe it's just that I built this amplifier. The proper audio part I built it with the old school point-to-point wiring technique. But all the rest, the Chinese have been doing it on PCBs for years. And it was my customer's wish to build an amp for him that would also support Bluetooth, for example, from laptops or mobile phones. And it was more of a curiosity wish rather than a hard requirement, like something for the potential future. But I came up with a way to do it. I had a lot of obstacles to overcome because the project also involved remote control, and I had a lot of problems with making the remote control work on that thing, but I did it. I'm a walking, talking problem solver, am I not? That's what engineering is about. Yeah, YouTube will only promote people who are already huge. Or short 1-minute videos. Nah, I've done a few shorts. They ain't that popular. Yeah, Hackaday is the dig of today, or the Reddit. No to short videos. No, I think that shorts are pretty useful for quick status updates or tech tips. That's how I use them. I think shorts are not evil incarnate. They have their uses. It's just over relying on short and trying to make a TikTok out of YouTube, all the while TikTok allows longer videos like 2 minutes. It's pretty hard to convey a message in a single minute. So that's very limiting. But quick status updates? Why not? Sure, why not? And by the way, I never edit shorts. I've seen a friend do it, but my shorts are end-to-end made with a mobile phone and not edited at all. Yeah, you're only valuable when they need you. Fucking capitalism. Yeah. The real relay is super neat. Yeah, subjects. Shorts about electronics can be a little more complicated, not as informative. I fully agree. Like, I've seen shorts by Big Life about electronics, and It doesn't compare at all to the real thing. Hey, Emily. Nice to see you here. So nice to see you here. I really wasn't expecting to see you on my live stream. That was a nice surprise. You and Joanne. It's so nice to see both of you. Okay, so I guess it's time to get over to the bench. So, one moment, please. Are we at the bench now? Yes, indeed, we are at the bench. Maybe let's zoom on in. This is a temperature regulator. And MEL knows it all too well. Because this is from them. And back at that renovation jobs, I also did a repair on a storage water heater. That was a large one, something like 300 liters. Then the heater was not working. The regulator was damaged and didn't turn on the heater anymore. So I replaced the regulator, and after I replaced it, I noticed that the heater was starting and stopping all the time. The root cause of the problem was that there was so much limescale on the heating element that it blocked the heat transfer. The water couldn't flow between the heating elements, and it overheated, causing the temperature sensor, a copper tube in which those capillaries were placed to heat up, and the regulator turned off the power to the heater element, and the cycle repeated. So it was working all the time, turning the heaters on and off and on and off and on and off. So, guess what it cost? Is it T10? Luckily it is. We will now discombobulate the regulator. Let's get some better light on that. Two M3 Torx screws. The regulator is Ego model Ego 55.600 19.410 STB 98-8 degrees Celsius. This is the conduct assembly, and oh my goodness, it doesn't look all too well. It's burnt. It's so burnt Then the separators, the actuators started just melting through. See? It's just molten. Burnt and molten. It's no use anymore. I will discombobulate it to destruction. And just one rivet. And then the contact is just gone. Just gone. Molten through. Totally royally fucked up. I will just bend the remaining contacts away, since I'm still discombobulating it to destruction. It's molten through. This one is in a better shape, but still bad. A lot of it is gone. No chance for it to conduct anything. So the root cause of the problem was that the limescale blocked the heat transfer, causing the regulator to switch on and off constantly. And from the arcing on the contacts, the thing was just destroyed. So, if you have one problem, it can cause a lot of other problems, like it's a chain reaction. So, maybe I should also take apart the temperature regulator part. Let me read the chat for a moment. Hey Alison, nice to see you. Yeah, that has been arcing nastily. It was a 6 kilowatt 3-phase water heater. Two kilowatts per section, because it was wired in Y or star. So 2 kilowatts at 230 volts, that would be a little bit less than 10 amps. But even 10 amps being constantly switched on and off, it will kill the contact. All the contacts, they have a maximum switching cycle number. And if it's exceeded, then the contact is it's just gone. It's done for. Okay. Commencing discombobulation. And let's take a look what the thermostat is made of. There's a chance that it will all fall apart into springs and that kinds of stuff. There is this spring. Most of the parts are attached to the base plate, but the cover also has a few of them. Looks like I will have to do those as well. Oh, come on, come on. Come on, for crying out loud. It is now separated. Not fully, because we've got two springs keeping the thing together. So those springs have to be detached. And I can now disassemble the thing, and this reveals the bellows units. Then the bellows coupled with two capillaries. And those bellows act upon those two mechanisms. One of them is bistable. And I guess it's resettable. Here's the adjustment screw. Let me see if it's really resettable. So those springs pulling this upwards. Then the spring that I took out, it just keeps the constant upward pressure on this plate. There is the sensitivity adjustment screw that sets the distance between those plates. If I screw it in, the distance will be greater. If I screw it out, it will be closer. So then the distance combined with the length, the expansion of the bellows. This is what adjusts the tripping point of this part. And this part is for the safety mechanism. Here we've got the reset button for the safety thermostat. This is a fail-safe mechanism that if the adjustment thermostat fails and the heater heats up to the maximum allowable temperature, then the other part will cut the heater off, preventing the water in the storage water heater from boiling and pressure from rising dangerously and tank from exploding. There's also one more critical safety feature on those storage water heaters. It's the overpressure safety valve. When the pressure rises too much, it will just release the water from the tank. So the first line of defense would be the adjustment thermostat. The second line of defense would be the safety thermostat. The third line of defense would be the safety valve. This is the three-tiered safety system on storage water heaters. Yeah, to just that diaphragms, Alison, yes indeed. Yeah, have faith it won't fall out. Reading the chat. And by the way, I've got an idea. What if I can use the industrial grade hair dryer to demonstrate how the diastat works. I think it will be easier to demonstrate it on this one. Might be very slow to move. Looks like it's slowly retracting. But I'm not that sure. Anyway, it doesn't expand all that much. Burned myself? Silly Carrie. Yeah, I have a sharp file. Okay, thanks people for the warning, because I was just talking and my benchmark died. Not sure why. If I restart the scene, let me try. That's some weird shenanigans going on. Okay, let's see if I can... C1U is not patched into anything. If I can patch it to the audio output and see if it's working at all. Yeah, the mic is working itself, but looks like it ain't coming through in OBS. I don't know why it stopped working. Let me try again to see if it was not a fluke. Still nothing. OBS audio capture. I should be seeing another OBS audio capture for that mic. Meh, not really there. So I guess that I will continue on with the stream, maybe until it's 3:30 local time, 1 Zulu time. And that would be for the teardown. Maybe the problem with the mic was because it probably got heated with the industrial hair dryer. Yeah, what? No. I wasn't fighting Coco for the mic. No, it's not Razer issues, it's more of Behringer issues. Battle control established. Yeah. A real deal Command and Conquer fan, I guess. I love the Command and Conquer series back from the times when it was made by Westwood. My favorite part was Red Alert 2. I also loved Tiberian Sun. But the classics, then Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert 1, they were fucking excellent and groundbreaking. And by the way, people, you really have to, if you love the Command and Conquer series, you really have to check out the Tiberian Sun's project. It's Frank Klepacki, the guy who wrote all the music for the Command and Conquer series, banded up with some musicians, and they just absolutely fucking rock the music that Frank made for the series. Let me find it for you. Official multicam show.
Sound hardware.
That's the one. That's absolutely brilliant. And my jaw was on the ground when I listened to it. Yeah, the benchmark was dead, but it's not that the hardware was dead. It's just the stream stopped coming through. And it looks like I will have to restart OBS to get it working again. Yes, indeed, Joanne, you are perfectly correct that the audio is off for that scene in OBS. Maybe for that device in OBS. Yeah, glad that Mike didn't pick that up. Yeah. So, what else do I have here? This scene got accidentally deleted. I don't know how and why, but fortunately I have undone this. So I've got a bunch of PCBs from disassembling a Japanese photo lab, the device that allowed you to scan and print photographs on the photographic paper, like developing and fixing and all the real deal photographic process in one device. All that was previously done in a darkroom. One of those boards, it's a 5 and 24 volts DC switching mode power supply. It's badly dirty. I will have to clean it before firing it up. There's a high chance that it will work, and it looks very powerful, so it might make a very good lab power supply for +5 and +24. That's one. Another pair of boards. It's the control circuitry. They were placed next to each other like this. Clearly the control part with with some microcontrollers and maybe some application-specific integrated circuits. A lot of logic gates. And this would be the 24 volts controls with status indications for each one of the channels. It has 3 relays and a SCR, the semiconductor relay, then the solid state relay. And there's one more board. This is the transformer power supply and control board with a huge ass full bridge rectifier. Filter caps. More of those relays and a huge ass number of solid state relays. 7 of them here and 2 of them here. Plus classic electromagnetic relays. 4 of those Matsushita lovelinesses. And 3 of those larger Omron ones. And a lot of fuses. A whole damn lot of fuses. So I will salvage a lot of parts from this one. Yes, full bridge rectifier. So the stream is now coming to an end. And just like with Big Life, it will end in a woofo. So, one moment please. Turning off all the lights. And come on, Zippo. And woofo. And what can I say? It was so nice seeing you here. And by the way, I was gonna show you something. I told you but the test gear cam, it also doesn't seem to work. Maybe it's the hub shenanigans. I was gonna show you some action on the new scope, but it ain't gonna happen, it seems. So, awkward moment.